What's up, E-Fam? We're back with another video. Big shout outs to every single one of you guys that have subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the E-Family Army. Welcome to the channel. Bora to every single one of you guys. Today we got the wifey in here. Nanselly in the house. I'm super excited.
Thank you.
She's going to be checking out a Bora City magazine video with us, and I'm super excited about it. You guys know I love checking out these videos. All of the back end, the under the surface videos that a lot of people don't like to see. I liked to get to know that. So I'm glad that she's going to be here with us. And just a little update. Every time I watch one of these, I always, kind of give her the information. Yeah. So she's kind of caught up with a lot of the stuff. Obviously, it's not, up to detail, I would say, but I give you the highlights,
Right.
So I'm excited. This one is called Performers versus Artists, BTS, the K-pop framework, and the mainstream music industry. So let's see what this is about. You ready?
Yes.
Let's get it. Oh, actually, look, I'm already messing up because I'm so excited. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram as well. Shout out to every single one of you guys. And as a words of encouragement, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope you guys had an amazing, successful day. And always do your best.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
All right, there you go. All right, let's go. Now we can do it.
Artist, musician, performer, entertainer, singer, musical act. These words are mostly used interchangeably by music listeners, and because of that, conversations related to these terms get a little intense. Every conversation about this is basically a debate about definitions and specifications. For example, a musician is someone who creates music. A musician is someone who plays music. Or is a musician someone who engages in any kind of musical activity, whether it's singing, playing an instrument, or making songs? What about a performer? A performer is someone who entertains people by acting, singing, dancing, or playing music. But not every entertainer is a performer, or are they? And what about people known by their strong performing abilities, but not really by extraordinary live vocals? Is singing live essential to be a performer? What about an artist, in the musical sense of the word? Is a musical artist any type of person who brings music to an audience? Or is a musical artist someone...
And I did see that they added the whole DJ Khaled thing too, and that's true. Because all he does is, the little ad-libs in the songs. So, and that's true, because Kid Bob's is up there too.
Yes.
Little Mix. Why does that sound familiar? Little Mix. Have you heard Little Mix?
Yeah, it does sound familiar, actually.
Right?
Yes.
I can't, okay. Yeah.
Any type of person who brings music to an audience? Or is a musical artist someone who makes musical art, aka music, by composing, interpreting, and performing? Can a performer who is not a songwriter but instead a singer and interpreter also be considered an artist? The specifications of all of these words made this video too difficult to write because I'm scared of not clarifying every time I say these words, and that is just not ideal. But at the end of the day, I think we can all distinguish that people who bring music to an audience can do so in different ways. And whether you want to call them musicians, artists, or my favorite neutral term, musical acts, I believe that pointing out their differences is not a hateful thing to do. But of course, K-pop is such an interesting and unique world, and mentioning what these musical acts do and don't do can be seen as insulting, even when we're talking about the most basic truths. My channel is about BTS and everything that surrounds them. And one common topic on my channel, as well as K-pop spaces in general, is why BTS? Why are they the biggest to come from the K-pop industry? More importantly, why do the biggest acts in the history of K-pop before or after BTS were and continue to be unable to go mainstream and or be considered serious artists? Of course, there are a lot of factors and I've talked about many of them, but the difference between being a performer and an artist is one of the most sensitive factors for K-pop fans, because saying that the only real artists in an industry full of performers are BTS sounds too snobbish. It sounds too extreme, and it sounds like the opinion of someone with tunnel vision. I'm not here to argue that. I do not believe that BTS are the only ones in the K-pop industry who are more than just performers or interpreters. Musical talent is expressed and can be perceived in so many different ways. What I do argue is that the musical artistry BTS does is mostly different from the musical artistry that K-pop groups do. It's not unrelated, but it's not the same. And yes, I do believe that all K-pop acts do the same kind of musical artistry, not the same kind of musical genre or concept, but they all express themselves musically the same way. Even the most rebellious and innovative K-pop acts maintain the status quo overall.
성이 중시되지 않는 사회라고 생각하거든요. 그런 부분들이 조금
Hold on, I gotta read all this.
Rebellious and innovative K-pop acts maintain the status quo overall.
성이
I think in Korea is a place where uniqueness isn't
중시되지 않는 사회라고 생각하거든요. 그런 부분들이
as such. I guess you could say.
조금 과하다고 말하면 과할 수 있는 거죠.
And I believe that aside from personality, talent, relatability, and the underdog story, the type of artistry BTS does, which is different from the norm, is one of the reasons why BTS became truly mainstream. It doesn't matter if you think an artist is any musical act or if you think an artist is someone who makes music and musical performances at a certain standard that is considered art. The type of musical artistry BTS does is being held to a different and more complex standard than the majority of K-pop, by the general public, by fans, and by BTS themselves. Whether you like this second definition of artist or not, BTS is being constantly associated and judged to the standards of that definition. In other words, as soon as anyone analyzes them for real, it feels easy and natural to consider BTS artists. But that doesn't happen with K-pop acts. They can be considered every other title, as well as artists.
Isn't that crazy though? To think of that, the way she said that, it's like they want to give that title to other K-pop artists, but they're not trying to give it to them, knowing the type of music that they're able to perform.
Yeah,
do,
definitely, because their talent is out of this world. Like, they have everything, like she's saying.
Yeah.
They perform, they entertain, they sing,
Yeah.
like everything. They're the full package.
They really are.
They're not getting that recognition.
And not only that, it's like it has that, but it also hits different markets, whether it's hip hop, whether it's pop, whether it's mainstream, whether it's whatever. And we just checked that out because once again, I ran back the videos that you guys already saw, because you guys are gonna see this after this video drops, where I checked out 7 songs from the
different artists,
and I ran those back to you, and we listened to the 7 ones downstairs, right?
Yeah.
So the difference between the way that they sing, rap. Crazy.
And transition from, let's say, rock to singing.
Yeah.
It's talent.
Yeah.
You know, and it's very they don't recognize each of their talent.
Yeah, because it's like we could give that example kind of like for J-Hope. So, for example, we checked out the song J-Hope by himself, where he's doing the rock stuff. And then the one with Miguel.
Right.
And then another one where he's... which one is that one song? I forgot, but there was 3 songs, but they were all completely different.
Yes.
It was crazy.
Yes, yeah.
So...
I love it. I love them all.
As long as it's from the first definition. This sounds harsh, but it really shouldn't be. This is the reality for a lot of musical spheres, not just K-pop. So let's clarify what this means. The list I mentioned at the beginning included the terms artist, performer, entertainer, musical act, singer, and musician. In K-pop, a musical act is usually called an idol, and this term can be used interchangeably with all of these terms. But it also comes with...
And just so you know, in Korea, an artist, or like, you know, like let's say BTS, they're called idols.
Oh.
They call them idols.
That's awesome.
But it's awesome, but it's also interesting the way that they, you know, use that term.
Right.
You know, and it kind of gives, like, for example, the whole Demon Hunters thing. I always reference that because that's where we came from.
I'll be your idol.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like, giving you, you know, like making you want to be obsessed and all this. And it's just like, wait, what? You know?
Which a lot of people are obsessed with them.
Yeah, they love them to the core. It's crazy.
Yes, that's true.
Like, the fandom is real.
Yes. They bleed purple.
Yeah, and I can say that because once I questioned to my niece what BTS was, and I almost got kicked out of the house.
Yeah, I remember that day. Wow, that was extreme.
I was like, well, I don't know, man. Teach me, like, what the hell? Not every BTS army is nice. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Let's go.
With its own definitions and rules. Of course, we can debate the specifics of the definition, but just to have an idea, the most popular and basic definition cited to Routledge Handbook of Celebrity Studies, the New York Times, the New Yorker, and Hong Kong University Press, I would say it's pretty accurate. An idol refers to a type of celebrity working in the field of K-pop in fandom culture in South Korea, either as a member of a group or as a solo act. K-pop idols are characterized by the highly manufactured star system that they are produced by and debuted under, as well as their tendency to represent a hybridized convergence of visuals, music, fashion, and dance. They usually work for a mainstream entertainment agency and have undergone extensive training in dance, vocals, and foreign language. Idols maintain a carefully curated public image and social media presence, and dedicate significant time and resources to building relationships with fans through concerts and meetups. Now, I know that some K-pop fans would say that an idol is just an artist part of the K-pop industry, the same way a lot of people would refer to any of these terms loosely. It's all the same, it's not that deep, they would say. But I think the majority of K-pop fans would agree that this is the general basis for being a K-pop idol. Sure, there may be an idol who has a less curated image, and another idol who works for their own entertainment agency, and another idol who doesn't care about fashion, and another idol who doesn't dance at all. But at the end of the day, these are the overall rules. These rules create a very strict artistic framework that is very hard to break away from. Before I explain the K-pop framework, I want to clarify that not every Korean musical act is K-pop. Just like in other parts of the world, there are Korean singers who make popular music, but not every Korean pop singer is a K-pop idol. To be a K-pop idol, they have to be trained by the K-pop training system, be signed to a K-pop label, participate in K-pop events, and overall follow the structure and rules of the K-pop framework.
So you need to follow the rules
in order to be an idol.
Yeah. It's kind of though that structure of like follow what we do and we'll get you there.
Yeah,
Type
there's
thing, you know?
levels to this. So you could be an amazing singer, a popular singer out there, but you're not an idol because you did not go to the K-pop regulations.
Yeah.
Or follow the regulations and structure and rules.
And be under the company, a K-pop company.
Right, right.
And this is what the difference with the whole BTS thing. It's that they really didn't go through that because with their label, they pretty much had the freedom to do as they please. So that's what kind of, made the big difference, I feel like, with them. So it's pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, it is.
I believe that the easiest way to recognize this framework is by watching K-pop music shows. K-pop music shows are a staple in K-pop, and here you can see it best. What you notice first is the loud, amazing visuals, the fashion, style, aesthetics, and beauty of the idols. This is so important that most times the idols pose to the camera before they start singing. I've seen live performances with introductions of minutes of just posing to the camera before I listen to the song. Idols also pose at the end of the performance. The second most shocking thing is the choreography, which is more than just a dance choreography. These idols have practiced very hard to put on a performance, and you notice it in the smallest details. Communication with the public, or mostly the camera, and facial expressions are also part of the choreography. Even the casual wink is rehearsed. The fans also synchronize with the idols by chanting their names and only parts of the song in an organized way, creating an overall synchronized performance. The fanchants are a part of the third element, which is what you hear, the music and the vocals. Although these are considered live performances, K-pop music shows and K-pop live performances in general are known for having a very loud and consistent backtrack. Depending on the moves of the choreography, the idol will play back or sing on top of the backtrack. The reason for a backtrack is a strong one. K-pop choreographies are so specific, technical, and intense that K-pop idols are more justified than other performers for having a backtrack overpowering their live vocals. So, with a backtrack, the idol can choose when to sing live on top of their own pre-recorded vocals and when to playback, while fans buy the overall illusion, because whether they are singing or not, their mics are on. We can listen to the actual microphone hitting the idol's face or jewelry, for example. This feels more real than the obvious playback, especially for K-pop fans who are used to this type of performances. But for someone who is new or unfamiliar with the way things work in K-pop, the lack of raw vocals are very obvious and off-putting. So an amazing K-pop performance for a K-pop fan can feel disingenuous, off-putting, and the complete opposite of spontaneous and real for the mainstream public. It doesn't matter if this audience is the global mainstream public or the Korean public who prefers non-K-pop pop music. With BTS's entrance to the mainstream music industry, which I'll talk about later, other musical factors are now at least talked about. Songwriting, raw vocals, and relatable personalities are a little more present in K-pop. But again, there is a void in the musical aspect. This doesn't mean that every K-pop song is bad or that every K-pop act lacks natural, spontaneous stage presence, but there usually is a lack of connection between the music and the musical act. In a way, non-K-pop listeners perceive the musical expression of an artist as the artist's personality. Whether they wrote their songs or not, their music is their self-expression. It's who they are. You feel that. You see that it makes sense. But when a K-pop act's artistic direction is all over the place, and also when you see that outside of the stage, the performer would never say or come up with what they sing in their songs, then the artistic connection is not there.
So that's one thing that they say that BTS had a lot of control over, and it's their writing of music and just them themselves creating these songs. The other side of, like, let's say the K-pop industry is that everybody's managed, everybody's sits down with writers, everybody's told what to do.
Yeah.
You know? So it's pretty crazy that they're able to break that barrier to not be, you know, with the other, and that's why they're hated so much.
And I was about to say that, and that's what separates them from other groups.
Mm-hmm.
The ability for them to write their own music, perform their own music, you know, and sing their own music.
Yeah.
So,
which apparently, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Which apparently, everybody in the comment section keeps telling me that their live performances are crazy amazing.
Oh, I would love to see that.
So, just with the song that we checked out with Jimin and Jin, I'm over here trying to think, like, okay, how would that sound live?
Oh my goodness!
Because those two songs were like very hurtful. Like, I could see the whole crowd being pitch black with their lights, their BTS lights, and it just looks insane, you know?
Yeah. I would love to see that in live.
We gotta see some live performances for real.
Yes.
I'm excited.
If the performance is one of the good ones, I may even believe you when you're on stage. But I believe that that is an act, not you. That is why the ultimate musical expression of a K-pop act is to be a performer and interpreter. To become the complicated second definition of artist, the K-pop act would have to break the barriers of the K-pop framework. They would have to go against the rules of the industry that made them. And in such a controlled industry, that just doesn't happen. I want to clarify that being only a performer is not a bad thing. Like this random comment I found says, ballet dancers don't choreograph their own dances. Opera singers don't write their own operas. Actors don't write and direct their own performances. Like in K-pop, there are exceptions, but these arts are not really about that. These arts are about the artistic talent and training. When I perceive it like this, I can appreciate K-pop performers a lot more. Performing and showcasing an image are art forms.
And I like that she said that, because it shows that, you know what, even though they're not doing it in the level that, you know, they're just considered performers per se, that still shows the amount of effort they put into the routines, even the rehearsals, like everything, you know?
Time and energy.
Yeah. Regardless, it still takes a lot of hard work.
Definitely,
So I like that she put that in there.
Calling someone a performer is a compliment because performing is difficult. And actually, the general public usually associates performing with putting on a show. Musical acts who lack depth, intent, star power, practice, and intensity are called out for not being performers. The general public complains. They are not performing, they're just standing there singing. As opposed to phrases like, they are a full-on performer. That is how you put on a show. So to be a good artistic K-pop idol is to be a good performer. I personally love a lot of performers and interpreters, and I believe that the global general public does as well. As long as the performer puts on stage a powerful performance, as long as the interpreter interprets something. In such an oversaturated and repetitive industry, it's normal to see bad performers. If you're just giving cute or pretty, it does feel empty and boring. But even if a performance is not boring, I believe that one of the main reasons why K-pop's growth continues declining globally is because the mainstream general public is hesitant to accept a music industry in which music as a personal expression is not the priority. Even if it's the most machine-made electropop song, it has to feel like it belongs to the artist. But the K-pop system itself...
That's why I feel like, that's why we know that the artists have the people that they work with the most in order to create these songs, because they know them so well that they're just going to be like, okay, like, let's say, for example, someone like Beyonce, it's like, okay, I'm going to have somebody write me a song, and it's like, who's it going to be? Probably the same person that always writes with her or for her, you know?
Yeah, because it gets her vibe, catches her drift.
Exactly.
So it makes sense to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Song, it has to feel like it belongs to the artist. But the K-pop system itself prevents this from happening. The good and unique performers, vocalists, or songwriters willing to make music their personal expression are hard to find, because they are usually one member hidden in a big group, hidden in an industry with more groups doing the exact same type of performance.
Isn't that crazy?
That is insane.
So the people that
should
be the ones that are performing are the ones that are kind of put in the back end.
Yeah.
And because, let's say they have a pretty face, it's like, okay, so you're going to be writing for them, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a must in order for have your music out there, or that's the only thing that it's gonna be yours out.
You know how we use the term here, like the pay to play, but also like a industry plant.
Yes.
Like that is straight up industry plants.
Yeah.
Like they're creating these groups, making them, you know, perform pretty much things that they're not even going through. Is somebody else's. And then they have to, it's crazy.
They have to perform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like it's theirs.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's messed up.
Yes, cute, sexy, and badass are different K-pop concepts, but I'll continue seeing them again and again and again in the exact
like
same
that sad
format.
song
So
that you like so much.
Yeah.
It probably has nothing to do with him.
Yeah. That's true.
But look how deep into it you got.
Okay, but
not the dog, the other one.
No, yeah. And I think you're talking about Jimin's song.
Yeah.
We just checked that out. But yeah, so, I did say that. It sounds like he got heartbroken. He was divorced and something's going on in his life because he wants to make love feel like he hates you because it hurts that bad and it makes him feel
easier
better.
to hate her than to love her.
Yeah. Yeah. No, wait, is that what it said?
Yeah, he'd rather, yeah.
Yeah, he'd rather, yeah. So... Yeah, but I don't know if that's a good example, but maybe it is, but maybe not. I don't know. He probably wrote that though, but I don't know if somebody else wrote that. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Time slap it. You already know. Please let me know.
Thank you.
So what makes any K-pop group special? I believe that the K-pop industry, along with its framework and rules, are fundamentally designed to fail in the mainstream music industry. But so are ballet, opera, and musical theater. That doesn't make them less. That makes them their own unique world with its own rules and ways of appreciating it. For example, for me, one of the most off-putting factors from K-pop performances is the lack of the idol's connection to the audience. Not the camera, but the actual people there, looking at the performance. I can totally excuse and even like when idols pretty much ignore the audience in K-pop shows. But festivals and concerts are about people, and I've seen way too many performances where the idols don't connect with the people there. They are still performing for a camera, whether it is imaginary or not. They are so used to being in or out of frame that when it's their turn to not be on camera, they forget that in a festival, I can still see them. The little lazy waves used to infuriate me more than anything else. However, when I started watching K-pop performances the same way I watch ballet performances, I understood. I don't judge an album for a musical the same way I would an album by a mainstream artist for mainstream audiences. It's okay if an album or singer for a musical is not nominated to Album of the Year or Artist of the Year at the Billboard Music Awards, because those categories are mostly about mainstream success and audiences. And sure, there are songs from musicals and K-pop that have gone viral, but forcing these arts into the mainstream music industry, especially as a whole, I believe is almost impossible today. The mainstream public has rejected the K-pop framework too many times for the K-pop industry to not get the hint.
Here we go. So now we're going to see the difference of what BTS does after getting a good 15 minutes of what K-pop does and just what the industry makes these idols do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So let's see.
So back to the original question, why BTS? Why did they actually become part of the mainstream music industry? BTS started slowly breaking into the mainstream music industry around 2017, and over the years, BTS has never denied being K-pop idols. But fans notice an artistic difference between BTS and K-pop acts. Suga has mentioned that K-pop is not a genre, it's integrated content. Like I mentioned before, this integrated content contains visual, fashion, dance, and music. RM has also said that although we can be annoyed by the K-pop label immediately put into BTS, for him it's a premium label that guarantees a high standard of quality. These two quotes are used by K-pop fans to prove that BTS are K-pop. Othering them, like I've pretty much done in this entire video, goes against BTS's own words. However, I believe these quotes are correct. K-pop is integrated content that I know will come with high standards of quality. Sometimes I watch performances by new, unknown K-pop groups and think, although this song won't make me a fan, this choreography, fashion, and visuals are way better than most Western boy bands and girl groups. Even my favorite Western girl group doesn't synchronize like that. Like RM said, this quality is ensured in K-pop. That's what the train.
Isn't that crazy that in Korea, this, like having a group and choreography and all that is still a thing.
Right.
Here in the US, that's been dead.
Yeah, you're a solo artist.
Yeah, everybody has their own egos. Everybody goes after their own industry, their own, like, whatever. You know, they want to go and do their solo careers and stuff. And like I said, I've said this before on this on these videos, but if they were to really synchronize with each other and be able to come as a unit, they would have probably been, you know, a big boy band or a big whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But because their egos are so high up, once they make it, it's like everybody wants to be, you know, the next someone to break out.
Right.
And it's like it just gets bad afterwards, you know.
Yeah.
So
and that's another thing that BTS has. They're great working together as a team.
Exactly.
Even though they're all individually shine on their own, together is just amazing.
Amazing.
Like
Very
RM
amazing.
said, this quality is ensured in K-pop. That's what the training is for. This same quality of dance, fashion, and visuals is expected from BTS, and we see it all the time. So yes, just like the best K-pop performers, BTS has those factors in the back. They started in the K-pop training system to be part of the K-pop industry, but now they are more than what they trained for. This is extremely unusual because, like I've said, the K-pop performers would have to break the K-pop framework that created them. But weirdly, BTS has done this in many ways, since pre-debut through their entire careers. The first BTS members had songwriting and producing abilities that K-pop labels were never looking for. These abilities related to music creation, plus the K-pop training system, made them the artists they are today. On the other hand, other members of BTS had performing abilities. But now, with the permission of their label and the inspiration from the composers, they are full-on artists. For example, the Taeyeon that debuted in 2013 as a good performer, it's not the Taeyeon today, a musician and lyricist. The Suga that debuted in 2013 as a good songwriter and producer is not the Suga today, a performer and entertainer strong enough to carry by himself an entire show-stopping tour. When you
Just
have
said
not
that.
just
Every
good
single
but
one of them.
amazing performers who perform, and musicians who compose, then it's understandable why after a few years they all become full-on undeniable artists. To do this, all the members and the K-pop label itself had to break the K-pop framework in which they were born. They didn't leave the industry completely because they still do the integrated content essential to K-pop. But BTS did break the rules, the artistic rules, whether it was because their label allowed them to or because they were not welcome in the K-pop industry and were forced to look outside the framework, or because the members looked at each other and were motivated to become full artists, or a combination of all of these circumstances. BTS did break everything. They did the unexpected. They grew not just as performers, but as artists. So just like K-pop, BTS has larger-than-life music videos, but they are the reflection of the members' ideas and situations they came up with or are going through. The videos are their artistic expression. Just like K-pop has defined K-pop concepts, BTS has concepts as well. They are just not the typical cute, sexy, badass K-pop concepts. They make conceptual albums. They do, not their label. Their conceptual albums are their artistic expression. Just like with K-pop, BTS's intense choreography requires them to have backtracks, but imperfect raw vocals are maybe 98% of the performance. Their performances are their artistic expression. And unlike K-pop, BTS's music feels uniquely them. Sure, they put on a big show for their performances, but they get off the stage and you notice that they use music as their expression. There is never such a harsh and a strong disconnection between them and their music as there is with K-pop acts. BTS feel like people in their music and like artists in their everyday lives. Interesting, fun, and strong personalities are also part of K-pop, but they have to be compiled through multiple interviews and behind-the-scenes content. So, of course, fans fall in love with K-pop idols as well, but their personalities are not in their music because that is not their music. They didn't write it and they didn't choose it. Just like a performer sings, dances, and acts in a musical, a K-pop idol sings, dances, and acts in a K-pop show. Again, this is not a bad thing. This requires a high level of talent and rehearsal. It's just that their music is not who they are. And no matter how complicated and detailed your definition of artist is, that is what BTS are.
Damn.
That is so amazing.
That is really amazing.
Good to know.
It really shows the amount of just not the amount, but I guess you could say more the how you could really just be yourself in this industry that's full of no's, that's full of people telling you you shouldn't be doing this, you're not going by the rules. And it's kind of like that cliche thing where people say, oh, you know, you're a bad boy, you're breaking the rules, you know?
Right.
It's like sometimes I guess you got to be that in order to find your sound, find what you want to do, and that's going to help them because they're finding themselves artistically every day because as we
and they change every day.
change,
So
yeah.
at the moment that they're going through this, they get to express themselves through that with music, and
Yeah.
then next album is they're going through a different stage in life,
Yeah.
so it's a different type of
Yeah.
album. And I
Yeah.
think that's very amazing that they're able to do that.
That's funny you say that too because we saw a video too where it was exactly that. It was talking about how, you know, it went from this class to this class and it went to this to now the like a big project.
Right.
So all the different stages in life, but also the different little side quests that they do with themselves and how
Right.
they want to express themselves. It just gives them that different type of mindset, a different type of creativity that gives us that good music that they want to make.
Right. Them
Because-
themselves, the way to express themselves. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
because if they don't end up doing any of this, I feel like it would kind of be machine made because if they, let's say, stay stagnant and just continue, let's say, sticking to one lane, it's going to be on like the same thing over and over again. But because they are who they are
And they're growing.
and
Yeah.
they're growing every day, and as we know, positive vibes, you know, turning the other cheek against anybody that's ever doubted them, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
It's like they come back as a unit, make bangers, and then they go out again to make their own thing, come back as a unit, make more bangers after they already came back from their own quests.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I
you
love
know?
that. Yeah.
This is really an interesting video. I like this. I like
Yes.
this.
Yes. I like this knowledge that I just received. That was amazing.
Yeah, shout out to Bora City Magazine.
Yes.
If you guys haven't, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Follow us on Instagram, and we're going to catch you in the next video.
Peace.
See you guys in the next one.